Hi folks, and welcome to the Truck King YouTube channel. Off-road packages or supposed off-road packages for these family haulers are more popular than ever, and when you're looking at Honda, you're talking about the new Trailsport lineup. So in this video, we're going to take this Pilot Trailsport, we're going to hit our trails, and we're going to see, is this thing actually more off-road worthy than a regular Pilot? Let's find out. Under the hood of the Pilot is a 3.5-liter V6. It makes 280 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque, and that is sent through a 9-speed automatic. And here on the Trailsport model, it is standard all-wheel drive, of course, so every Trailsport will power all 4 wheels. Now, the other thing you're getting with Trailsport is some unique looks. So you're getting the black trim, you're getting those 18-inch blacked out wheels, you're getting what Honda calls fender flares, although really it's just plastic cladding around the fenders. And then probably the most meaningful upgrade to this Honda when it comes to off-roading are the tires. That's a set of Firestone Destination LEs. They're not even quite as aggressive as an all-terrain, but definitely a step above sort of a standard highway tire. Now, the other kind of real upgrade here is a lift. Now, it's only 0.6 inches of lift, but that brings our total ground clearance to 7.9 inches. Not a great number, but still it is lifted above a regular Pilot. However, there's a kind of a strange number. The approach angle on a regular Pilot is 0.1 degrees better than that. So I don't really understand how the Trailsport actually has a slightly worse approach angle than a regular Pilot. It's a little strange to me that it's the best off-road model with a slightly worse approach angle. And you know what? Like we always do here on Truck King, we're gonna go out into the forest and see how it actually handles in the real world. When you're telling the story of the Pilot, you have to look at the rear end because this vehicle is really about hauling a lot of people or a lot of cargo or some of both, and there's different configurations. So in the second row there, you're getting just over 38 inches of legroom, but there is a third row. Now you get this big beefy rubber floor mat. I do kind of like that. It folds up and it reveals our third row up here. Now, that's only 31 inches of legroom. It's pretty small, but this rear is actually a bench, so this is an 8-seat model, but you're not getting 3 full-size adults back here. It's pretty much just for kids in the third row. Now, without the third row, you have a massive amount of storage space back here, and I'll also show you, when you fold this forward, you get some underfloor storage. That's a nice area. Your spare tires down below. And then Honda gives you the option to drop this panel down in there, and then you can leave that open at all times. Couple storage pockets here on the corners, and a 12-volt outlet back here. So there's a lot of good things going on back here in the Pilot. And like I said, you can choose to haul 8 people and a little bit of stuff, or 5 people and a lot of stuff. Now let's look underneath this Pilot. We'll start up front. There is a little plastic flimsy skid plate here, but it's not much of anything. I'd barely call it a skid plate. Now next, you do get a recovery hook there. I do suspect this is here more for shipping purposes, for tying this thing down, because it's so deep underneath the bumper. But hey, if you're willing to lay down in the dirt, you could hook it up, and if I was stuck, I would definitely use it. Now next, let's just talk about the layout on this Pilot, because it's different from all the trucks we normally have. This is a transverse mounted V6, because it's front wheel drive base, so you can see your axle shafts right there. There's your transmission, and there's your center differential, which sends the power back there to your rear differential in the all-wheel drive system. Now right there in the middle, you do get a center skid plate, Magna check. That thing is aluminum. And I also have to show you guys, it's extremely thin aluminum. Now next up, we roll back and you get to the next big long skid plate over here. Now that is a plastic skid plate, but once again, you do have this kind of jut down right here, so it's nice to have some type of extra protection. Now down there at the rear end, you'll see your individual axle shafts, and then at the very back, there is a spare tire. It's not a full-size spare though, it's just for emergency use only. Alrighty folks, now our off-road adventure begins, and let's hope it's not too much of an adventure. With a vehicle like this Pilot, we're just gonna run what we call Main Street and then Wall Street. These are our 2 main trails. They're kind of just feeder trails for the tougher ones. But for a vehicle like this is gonna be plenty of a challenge. Now right now I'm on what we call Wall Street, and we were back here recently making this trail wider, so there's a lot of big ruts that were dug out by the backhoe, and I tried to fill in some of the ruts with rocks, but even still, we're absolutely gonna test the clearance on this Pilot today, and we'll see if the tires are kind of good enough to drag me through if something is actually dragging on a rock. Here comes what could be our first tough obstacle, and it's literally just a rut down on the driver's side with a couple of rocks on either side. So I'm trying to avoid the rut and the rocks. Oh, and now I'm fully in the rut. Fully slipped into the rut. I don't think my nose is dragging yet. I don't feel anything dragging. I'm feeling really low here. Little bit of tire spin there, just a tiny bit. All right, now comes the big rutted section. Now Dad's convinced I'm not gonna make it through. I think I can pick up line that will let me get through, but let's see how the nose does. Nothing dragging yet. And now I got the big drop off here. I gotta go hard. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. I wanted to jump out of the ruts. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Oh no! This is really slippery right now. I just keep slipping. Yes! Back into these ruts. But if I can straddle the ruts. Now here we have huge rocks on the driver's side. I'm trying to entirely avoid them because this thing will not go over them. No chance. But if I can avoid them, it actually did okay. And I'm cheating a little bit, like I'm not just plowing right through the middle of the trail, which is what I would normally do in a Bronco or something, but I know the Pilot wouldn't have handled that. But you know what I'm feeling right now is that, yeah, with a little bit of care and control, with these tires and that tiny little lift, this Pilot will get you into a place a little more rugged than a standard Pilot. But again, this is not an off-roader. It's meant to haul your family. If you like to canoe, kayak, camp, this is probably more the model for you. Don't come out on the trail like me. Now we've left the forest and we're out here cruising on-road because once again, this is where the Pilot is going to live most of its life, not on trails like ours. But still, Dad, I won't even say I was totally impressed, but I think the Pilot did okay. It was really kind of hairy for me picking those lines. Most vehicles, we can just plow right through there, and the Pilot, I had to be really delicate with it. But the tires, I keep coming back to this. That's the most meaningful off-road upgrade you can make. Thankfully, Honda made it. And you know what? Yeah, we had a couple muddy ruts there where I do feel like they helped pull me through a little bit. But outside of the off-road stuff, there's also a whole bunch of other interior comfort and convenience things that come along with Trailsport. Things like these leather seats with contrast stitching, wireless phone charging, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, navigation, a moonroof. So again, Honda knows you don't just get this package to get the off-road stuff. You get it because you want a nice, luxurious Pilot that has a little more off-road cred. So with all that being said, Dad, I guess the first question I'm going to ask you is, how is it driving on-road? What are your feelings about it when you're just cruising around out here?
Yeah, typical Honda. I mean, it's fairly quiet. I mean, it's tight. It's doing everything it's supposed to do. You know, and to your point, I'm sitting here thinking to myself, you know, I'm on the other side of having kids. I got them, but look at the size of them. And you know, to me, this Pilot is what you buy when you just can't stomach the idea of a minivan, and yet you've got little people that you got to truck around. And then Trailsport is because you just want to be able to look at somebody and go, look, I'm still cool. I'm still cool. I can go off-road, which you can't. You can do a little gravel road or something, or maybe you go camping, so therefore you feel like, you know, if you pull onto the grass somewhere, that this is going to help you out. You know, honestly, this is marketing at its finest.
It's following a trend, right? Everyone's doing it. Subaru with Wilderness, RAV4, TRD off-road, Trailsport at Honda. Off-roading is just so kind of popular right now, right? And it's the thing, but not a lot of people really want to go do it. So yeah, you get the look of it. And personally, I don't like the look of the Pilot. I don't think you can make this vehicle look tough. I don't care what you do to it. That big bulbous rear end just looks kind of soft and blobby to me. That's just my eyeballs. I don't know about you.
Yeah, you know what? This vehicle fits a purpose at a certain point in your life. Like I said, family with kids and a dog and stuff, and you still want to get out and do things and take the kids to hockey and go on a camping trip. I get it. And then when those days are over and you sell this thing, you won't miss it for a minute.
Going for the Trailsport, of course, you get standard all-wheel drive, and Honda calls it intelligent all-wheel drive. The reason for that is because it uses torque vectoring, so it is able to actually send more power to one side of the vehicle or another. And I actually got a good shot here demonstrating it. As Dad's turning the wheel and we're on a gravel road, you can actually see the vehicle sending more power to one side or the other based on which way he's turning, because when you turn left, it's going to send the power right to help you rotate around the corner. Now, once again, you know, this is not for an off-road system. This is a real-world system. On that gravel road, if you do feel the vehicle start to push a little bit, this torque vectoring is going to counteract that. And again, from behind the wheel, did you feel a little bit of it? It makes it feel a little more confident when you're kind of really dialing in heavy steering.
No, you do feel it sort of, just as the back end wants to break loose, it kind of pulls it back in.
Yeah.
It's not overly aggressive.
No.
But you know when it's going to really be good? In snow.
Yeah, absolutely. Same
For
thing.
sure,
Right?
in
You're
snow.
going all squirrely and sideways,
Yep.
and the vehicle is able to split the power to try to keep you nice and straight. So yeah, there's definitely something to be said about Honda's all-wheel drive. I think it may be a hair better than some other systems out there. Well, folks, we have come to the end of this one. So what's the verdict on the Pilot Trailsport? Well, when you go for this package, sure, you're getting a little bit more off-road cred, but really you're just getting a comfort, convenience, and styling package. And the question is, for you, is it worth it? Well, of course, now I want to hear your answers, so go into the comments. Let me know what you think of this Pilot Trailsport. As always, while you're down there, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, hit join to become a member, and then come back here to Truck King to see what we're testing next, because you never know what it might be. See ya!